As soon as we install Bootstrap and set up inside our React application, we encountered a small problem. Inside the header, if you try to see these links, home, about, contact, and login, and this basket, the CSS styling that we used to have before, it completely changed. I know why this is happening. Let's try to quickly fix this issue before we try to see the demo of Bootstrap. Let me go to my header.jsx. Inside my header, we are trying to use some CSS class names like nav-link. Using these class names only inside index.css, we have certain CSS stylings applied. But the problem with these class names is inside Bootstrap library also, we have similar class names with the name nav and nav-link. Since Bootstrap also has similar class names, it is also trying to do its own job of styling the navigational links. That's why the styling is disturbed. To fix this issue, what I can do is I can try to change this class name from nav to easy nav. So this is my class name. And this nav-link, I'll try to change to some other value. Let me search for all the values inside my file and I'm going to replace them with this new class name. As soon as I click on this replace all the class names are going to be changed. As a next step, I'll go to my index.css and here also I'm going to change all now to easy now. Once we change this class, as a next step, we should also change the nav-link as well. Let me remove hyphen and mention capital L. The same class name I'm also going to mention here as well. With this, we should be good. Let me go to the browser and validate whether the styling is corrected. Yes, the stylings are corrected. As of now, our old stylings came back and we are consistent throughout our application. This issue is resolved. Now let's go to the demo of Bootstrap. As I was saying before, Bootstrap is going to improve the productivity of the UI developer by providing predefined components. When I say predefined components, it can be a button, it can be a navigational bar, it can be an breadcrumb, it can be an accordion. For all the possible UI components that an UI developer can think of, for all of them, predefined CSS class names are going to be provided by the Bootstrap. Once you saw the demo, it is going to make more sense to you. What I'll do is, I'll go to the home.jsx. Here, just above the page heading, I'll try to add a button. For this button, I'll have a text submit. This is how a UI developer will try to define a button, followed by the developer will try to style his button. First, let's see how this button is looking like inside the UI. This is the default button that we are going to get with the plain HTML. There is no CSS applied. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'll try to apply some CSS classes which are provided by Bootstrap library. For the same, first, I need to type class name here. To this class name, I'm going to pass couple of CSS class names. The very first one is btn space and the second one is btn hyphen primary. I'll get to the point how to know these CSS class names. For now, let's see how this button changed on the UI. Do you see the styling of the button is changed and it looks pretty good. The magic here is, as a developer, I didn't define any of the CSS styles to beautify my button. I'm simply trying to use the CSS class names provided by the Bootstrap. If you go to the Bootstrap website and click on these docs, you can search for all possible components inside an website. On this page, under components, there is a link related to buttons. You can click on the same. By reading these buttons related documentation, you should be able to easily understand about the predefined CSS class names provided by the Bootstrap. Here they have mentioned class as btn. They also have an explanation. Bootstrap has a base btn class that set up basic styles such as padding and content alignment. Once you have set up the basic button, you can also explore various variants. If you see, these are all the possible button stylings that we can set up with the help of Bootstrap. If you use btn-primary, this is how it is going to look like. And btn-secondary, this is how it is going to look like. Similarly, for success, danger, warning, info, light and dark, by just changing the class name, you should be able to change the styling of your button. You don't have to write anything from scratch. In case if you are looking to have only a link without any button shape, then you can use this button-link as a CSS class name. Bootstrap is very powerful. Using Bootstrap, you should be able to quickly build the UI components without worrying about the CSS styling. Maybe what I can do is I'll try to create a component inside my project. Using this component, I can try to set up buttons inside my UI page. Let me create a new file with the name bootstrap button.jsx. Inside this file, I'm going to create a functional component. This functional component, it is going to accept two different input parameters. The very first parameter is what is the text that we want to display inside the button, followed by what is the type of button that we want to display. Once the destructuring of the properties is done inside my component, I'm going to return a JSX code. First, let me create button. This button is going to have the value which is derived from the property text. So that's why I'm trying to read the prop value text here, followed by I'll try to mention the class name as btn, which is going to be common for all kind of buttons inside Bootstrap. Next, I'm going to type btn-primary. As of now, here we have hard-coded the class names, but instead I want to populate these primary or success or secondary based upon the type property. Here, if you see, if it is primary, this is how button is going to look like. If it is secondary, this is how it is going to look like. For success, this is how it is going to look like. The same applies for danger, warning, info, light, and dark. Since we are trying to have a combination of static class name and dynamic class name, we need to use string literals or text literals. So it's going to be very easy. First, we need to mention curly braces because we are trying to write some JavaScript expression. Followed by inside curly braces, we need to mention backtick symbol. Let me bring this entire content into the backticks. After the hyphen, since I am looking to populate some dynamic value, I'm going to mention dollar followed by curly braces. And inside these curly braces, I'm going to mention the property name type. With this, our Bootstrap button is ready. Now let me go to home.jsx. Here first, I'm going to import the Bootstrap button. Followed by, I'm going to replace this entire code with Bootstrap component. Let me try to use Bootstrap button here and close the component. To this component, I'm going to pass the text as submit and type as primary. So please make sure P should be a lowercase letter. Now we can go to the browser and validate if it is working properly or not. Yes, it is working properly without any issues. Let me check the console as well. Inside the console also, there are no issues. I'll try to display other buttons as well. First, let me create a div with a class name as container. So if I type dot container and press enter, I'm going to get a div with this class name. Inside Bootstrap, there is also a CSS class with the name container, which is going to take care of styling our container. Inside this new div that I have created, I'm going to create multiple buttons. Let me duplicate this line multiple times. So I'm pressing Option Shift down arrow multiple times. Next, I'm going to change this value to save, followed by type. I'm going to mention secondary. Next, I'll change this to OK, followed by success. S should be small letter. And at last, I'll try to mention the value as cancel, followed by danger. If I save this and go to the browser, you'll be able to see 4 different buttons are getting displayed. But the buttons are getting displayed with a lot of space in between them. What I can do is, as of now, my container is taking whole screen size. I'll try to reduce to half by mentioning col-6. Basically, inside Bootstrap, the entire screen is going to be divided into 12 columns. If I mention column-6, that means I'm trying to reduce my container width to half of the size available. So let me save these inside the browser. Now things are looking great. Let me create 2 more buttons. This time I'm going to have the text as delete, and for this I'm going to have warning. For the next button, I'm going to mention the value as link, and the type is going to be link. This is how our buttons right now are displaying. Are you seeing the power? By using predefined button CSS class names, I'm able to quickly build my buttons based upon my requirement. Nowhere I have written any CSS code related to these buttons. Everything is happening based upon the CSS provided by the Bootstrap framework. If you go to the app.jsx, here we are trying to import this file. We can try to open this and search for .btn. So let me search for .btn and you should be able to find some CSS styling related to BTN. So based upon this styling only, our buttons on the screen are getting displayed. I hope you got some good introduction on Bootstrap. In the next lecture also, let's try to explore few more components provided by the Bootstrap.